the Ford Fiesta today on Mr. M1 Motors. Hello everybody and welcome back to Mr. M1 Motors. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have the privilege of reviewing this car. It's the new Ford Fiesta, the subcompact hatch we've got here in 5-door. And this car starts from £16,645 and it goes up to £27,080 for the top of the range models. The one we got here is the Titanium X. I do believe it's the Titanium X because of the sound system that you get in there. When I was researching the trim, that is part of this Titanium X. In terms of engines, we have the 1-litre EcoBoost, which this is, but this one here is the 125 brake horsepower variant. There is other variants, less horsepower, and also the STs, which have a lot more horsepower as well. And it has roughly about 180 newton meters of torque, so not too bad. And I did hear a turbo growl in there, so I think it's mated to the turbos, these new 1-litre engines. Although it's just a 1-litre, when you put a turbo, they have some great performance, but also economy. And in terms of, you know, speed and 0 to 60 as well, it's got a top speed of 124 miles an hour and then 0 to 62 of roughly about 9.9 seconds. And that's going to vary based on obviously what trim you go for. And if you go for the ST, then that's a high spec version, and that will be a lot more performance based. Let's have a look at the design then of the new Ford Fiesta. Well, what strikes me is that grille, this chrome effect grille that you get, and this grille here in the chrome effect is what you get with the titanium. Other specs do have different designs and different sort of materials, like the ST one, more of aggressive, sportier grille. But I think whatever trim you go for, this grille is a signature grille now that they adopted earlier on, a couple of years back. And you know, some say it resembles the Aston Martin grille, or other people also call it the fish mouth grille. So really nice design. I think they've kept, and it's quite wide as well, so it really takes up most of the car, but it gives you that stance on the road. You've got the fog lights here as well. And the lower bumper is nice and clean. It's not too overdone, you know. It's just right, I feel, for this particular model. In the Titanium X, you know, if you go up to the other ones, you do get more of a sporty body kit. So these lovely headlamps then sweeping down into the bodywork, starting from the side there, and then just making their way to the front. So I think that's a really nice design that they've used for the headlights. You've got LED daytime running lights, front and rear. It's flickering at the moment, but not in real life. And I think it's just normal, standard, you know, headlamps. So I think overall the front looks really clean, sharp design, and in this particular trim, it's not too overdone. It's got the elegance as well with the chrome. And let me know what you think about the front of the new Ford Fiesta. This is a side profile of the Ford Fiesta. And again, it's a really nice, compact, but we will see inside how much space you do actually get. And what I love about it, it's not too big, just over 4 meters, so it's not huge, but you know, it's adequate for the town driving that you probably will be doing. And just really, that's what this subcompact segment is about. It's about you being able to use the car in town mainly. On this Titanium X model, we get the 17-inch 8-spoke alloy wheels, 16 inches standard, I believe. These are the 17-inch because of the trim, so we're going to see how that affects the ride. I can already tell you it's actually not too bad considering the bigger wheels that they've fitted on the car. We've got this lovely design line going under the door handles, as you can see, just finishing off to the end there, and then sort of also the bottom part, there's also another aerodynamic design feature, and again that is for the aerodynamic to flow the air around the car. You've got sort of a contrasting chrome accent around the window frame, almost finishing at the top there, but then as you can see it then finishes off in sort of a black accent going at the top. So you've got 50/50, which is actually not too bad. I think it really suits the car. There you have it then, the side profile of the Ford Fiesta. Let me know what you think. This is the rear of the Ford Fiesta, and as you can see, they've gone for this lovely design with the headlamps going across horizontal. It's a different design to the previous model, which have them vertically, and I think this gives it more width and stance on the road, which I personally like. It's not too overdone in terms of, you know, body kit or sportiness. And again, if you go to the ST models, those variants, they will have more of the sporty body kit, but you still get this, you know, lovely spoiler at the back there, which again, part of the trim. I think the titanium gives you the best world of both, you know, elegance, sportiness, and overall good kit. As you can see, you got the parking sensors as well, which is always good to have. I think they've done a great job here in terms of design language for the new Ford Fiesta. As I mentioned, those lovely lights going side of the bodywork and then sweeping round, giving you that width and that stance on the road. Let me know what you think though about the rear of the Ford Fiesta. I'm now going to go inside the interior of the Ford Fiesta and see what it's like. So we've got keyless entry as well with the Titanium X trim. This is the interior then. Just a quick overview of what it looks like. Looking at the seats then, well, you get this lovely cloth middle part with leatherette effect on the outside. This new material that they're using, sustainability is really good. You know, we're going away from leather and into this leather, shall we say, look, but the actual feel and quality is actually really, really good. And they're all very supportive, as you can see by the bolster in there. They do actually keep you nice and you know, firm when you're going around corners. So the seats are really good, and we will have a look at that on the driving part as well. So here we are then inside the Ford Fiesta, and as you can see here, you've got your classic gauges, you've got your speedometer, you've got your rev counter, and in the middle there you've also got a little digital screen. I'm not sure if this particular trim you get the 4.4 inch. I'm not sure if that is correct, but anyway, you get that middle screen there where you can flip through different options, I believe. But yeah, so you've got different options to go through. Quite standard, but you know, it does the trick. You've got your fuel gauge and your temperature gauge, and over here you've got all your controls, as I was just scrolling through there, the buttons, and you've got also your phone pickup and close. You've got the speech button as well. You can talk, you know, to set, for example, a destination. Your classic horn, and then over here you've got your cruise control and then your volume buttons. So all in all, nicely done. Over here you've got all your light switches and some other functions that you can use, very accessible. And under here you've got a little storage pot, which is really nice actually, because you know, you might want to just put something very small, and I think they've really thought about this really well. We've got the button to actually start the car, which is there, which is really nicely done, and we're going to start at the top this time instead of from the bottom. So this is the screen you get. I believe it's the 8.8 inch infotainment screen, and as you can see, you've got, at the moment, we've got the satellite navigation on, and you can zoom in like that. Not too bad. A little bit cheap on the, you know, the quality of the buttons, but as you can see, it's quite responsive. So actually it's doing the job, and that's the main part. You know, as long as it does the job, I think we are good with that. So here you have all your functions. You've got your audio, you've got your phone, you've then got your navigation, you've got apps, and then you've got your settings. So you know, you can configure all of this. One other thing is, you know, you got the soft touch material at the top coming down, so they've done a really good job of that. Going over here, you've got a dampened glove box, relatively decent space actually to put some stuff in. Now going down further here, you've got then your vents, and then you've got your climate control. Again, done really nice with the you know, temperature inside the dial there. Down below here, you've got a little cubby, which is really nice because you can fit some stuff in there. And apparently it's also wireless charging apparently on this trim, but 100% not sure. Not 100% sure. You would just have to double check what you get for the trim. Other features we get a 12-volt socket, which is also very useful, and then we've got the USB 2 connectivity, so you can put that, for example, to your phone, and you know, do whatever you need to do, connect it to the system. So all well there. There's your 6-speed gearbox, manual, and it's finished in this sort of leverette effect as well. Also, going on to talking about leverette effect as well, we've got this lovely steering wheel finished also in this this lovely sort of looking leather. Not 100% sure if it's leverette, like a faux leather or real leather, but nicely done. Got a manual parking brake again in that material, and then we've got this cubby, the drink holders, which put your drink in. Back here then we've got this central armrest in a leatherette material, and inside there we've got a nice, relatively decent cubby actually, I think, with also a USB port in there, so good for charging other stuff or for the passenger. So really well thought out from Ford, which is really nice. So this is the visibility you get from the driver's position, which I think is not too bad actually. In terms of the A-pillar, it's not too thick, and that's really important because on my Alfa Romeo Giulietta, for example, it's really thick, and it can make it very difficult for you to look around to see who's coming when you're coming out of a junction or something like that. What they've done extra here, they've gone a bit further forward, and they've added this little window here, and that's really cool because that just gives you that little bit extra, you know, visibility to see who's coming from those blind spots. So I think they've done a really good job there. So it's not too bad from a side window perspective as well. Plenty of light coming in. It's quite a big window, so done really well. As you go to the back, it does slender in at the top there, so it does become a bit smaller, but from a visibility point, again, it's quite easy to see what's going on behind there. They've also done the extra window right at the back there, just so that you can see that blind spot, and I think that's super, super important, and I'm so glad that they've done that. So they've really thought about visibility. And the back window is actually not too bad as well. It's actually quite easy to get a good view. It's quite wide, a little bit narrow, but it's still wide enough for you to see what's going on behind. So we're going to have a look in the rear now. And that's the rear door. Not much going on here. You've got a space there to fit your bottle of 500ml. So, you know, they've thought about that practicality, which is good. The rest of it's just, you know, normal hard plastics, but all done fine. That's inside. Again, you get this lovely leatherette material, soft, squidgy, premium looking, with the nice material in the center, and this lovely stitching as well, which again just, you know, gives it more of a premium look, which I think they've done a really good job of. And so we're going to go inside. Now that's my driving position, and as you can see there, this is the space I've got. So I can actually go all the way under, which is really nice. I've got loads of room at the back here, really loads of room. Now bear in mind though that I'm not very tall. I'm 5'7". This is my driving seat, so if there was a taller driver and a tall person at the back, might be a little bit tight. So, you know, you might have to negotiate with the driver if there's a tall driver and the seat's a bit further back, or tall driver and tall person. In terms of visibility, like we were saying, well, from the passenger at the rear, there's still a lot of light coming in here, thanks to those extra windows that you get there in the rear pillar. So giving visibility for the passenger, but also the driver. So not too bad at all actually. It's nice cozy. In terms of headroom, because the roof line isn't sweeping down like a coupe, you actually get quite a good amount of headroom, which is really good. In terms of other things, well, there's a storage cupboard. You can put maybe some stuff, but other than that, yeah, there's not much really going on at the back. But you know, it's all right for a journey, a short journey, even a longer one, because at least you've got the pocket to put your water, and it's actually good for, I would say, if you were to carry 3 people, not having something in the middle, it's actually better for the feet. So overall, not too bad. This is the boot of the new Ford Fiesta. 311 litres is what you get to play around with, and you get to pack your stuff in that space. I think it's a really nice square shape as well, so it means that, you know, you can pack quite a bit in here because of that, the way it's just been designed. Some cars you get really narrow opening. The load lip is not too high. That's really important, especially when you're loading heavy stuff. You do have a dip that goes in there. I think you get that on a lot of these hatches and sub hatches. You get a nice, well, standard really, and everything. You should get a light in there, but get a couple of hooks in there. And on this side here, you also get another hook. But what I do love is this. So look, you get the straps that you can put bottles and other bits and bobs. So, you know, your favourite bottle of wine can go there on a Friday or Saturday evening. I've got my coat in there, but as you can see, I've also got my laptop bag in there, just to give you an idea of the space that you get. That's a 15-inch laptop bag, and it fits in there quite easily. Just put it like that as well to give you some height, dimensions of what it looks like. You could easily fit in here a couple of small, you know, cabin bags, probably even bigger bags, bigger suitcases, just depending on how big they are and how you configure them. But I think it's a really good usable space. So with the seats folded completely flat, then the back seats, you get a total load capacity of 1,093 litres. That's, I think, in my opinion, more than enough for you to really use this car to its full potential. You know, especially if you're going to the hardware store or you're going to buy some flat pack furniture. I think personally it's adequate, and you can definitely make real good use of this boot space. Normally I'd be going through the driving part of the video at this point. Unfortunately, I'm unable to bring you that part of the video because my clamp decided to break, which was holding the phone. I'm so devastated because that's my favourite part of the video, and I'm so sorry that I can't bring you that part. But instead of leaving it there, I thought to myself, well, let me at least give you guys a commentary on what it was like to drive the 2020 Ford Fiesta. And what I've thrown in this time in the driving part of the video is some categories that I think will hopefully bring you some value. So the first category we're going to be looking at is the comfort and ride. Starting with the comfort, we're going to be looking at the seats. I'm glad to say that the seats are really well cushioned. They feel nice to be sitting in, whether it's a short journey or long journey. So they've done a really good job there, I think, Ford. The materials are also really nice. The combination in the titanium X, and when I was driving, where you had the cloth material and the leather on the outside, really gave the car a sense of premiumness. If you go for the ST, you also get those lovely Recaro bucket seats, which give you even more support when you're doing the corners. But I think for the standard Fiesta, they've really got a really good balance here of catering for, you know, many different people, and the actual bolstering itself is not too aggressive, but at the same time is sufficient for you to be, you know, held in your seat without sort of moving around too much. And I think this is the character of the Ford Fiesta, a nice car that you can drive every day, but also then have fun with the car when you want to. And going on to the bolstering, well, yeah, it is a little bit hugging, and I think, you know, if you've got some big lats and you know, your back's quite big, you might find it a bit snug, a bit of a snug fit. But I think overall they've made a seat which most people should be okay with. Also, the adjustability is really good, whether that be the height adjustment or the, you know, the length. I think there's plenty of adjustment there for everyone to get into a really comfortable driving position. In terms of ride, well, this particular trim, the Titanium X, is riding on 17-inch wheels. And I thought to myself, are these going to be a bit too big and spoil the ride comfort? Well, actually it didn't. Actually, the car behaved really well. It went over the potholes just as good as most cars. And I think that's due to the setup with the suspension. I think they've gone for a really, neutral setup here, not too hard and not too soft. So you get that blend of, suspension that's quite giving over the bumps and the potholes. Now, the bigger the wheel, the less comfort you do get. So if you went for a 16-inch wheel, you probably would get even more comfort. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, it went over the potholes with ease, and there was no judder through the actual chassis. So all in all, I think they've done a really good job with that. The second category we're going to be looking at is the tech and features of the car. Now, this will mainly depend on what trim you go for. So normally the higher the trim, the more kit you get. So I definitely recommend you have a look at the website just to see what trims are available and what you get with those trims, because ultimately, you're the one that's going to be having to make the decision for what your needs are. I'm going to go through some things that come with the Titanium X, which was the one that I drove. And so we had the nice infotainment screen. So it was, reasonable size. It was bright, and it was positioned, high enough for you to not take your eyes off the road. So I think overall that's a really good feature that they've put in. And I think a lot of these modern cars now have some form of infotainment screen. The other thing that this particular car had was the particular trim, shall I say, was the auto lights and the auto wipers. Great help. It was amazing using them because they just did the work, and you just set it and that's it. Obviously you can override that feature and do it manually as well. We've also got the parking sensors. Again, with the way these cars are set up now, with the design, sometimes you don't know what's behind you, but having those sensors gives you that reassurance. But obviously you can, some trims might not have them, but it's good to have those parking sensors. And I think now majority of the manufacturers are putting them in as standard. We've got the camera, although this particular one doesn't have the camera. If you went for, I think, the next trim up, you also get the reversing camera. Again, another feature that just gives you that reassurance when you are reversing. But being a small car, I think parking should be not too bad, considering you've got the light steering on this car as well, so that should be all right. But if you go for it and you get that camera, it's going to just give you that reassurance. And then we've got the cruise control, which comes with this particular trim. Again, that's if you're going on a long journey on the motorway, for example, or on a really long A road, you just set that and then it does all the work for you. So some really good features, but again, have a look on the website to see which trim suits your needs. The next category we're going to be looking at is the power and handling of the 2020 Ford Fiesta. And I'm glad to say that from a power point of view, it's really good. It's only a 1 litre engine, 1 litre petrol engine. And I thought to myself in the beginning, well, I remember the 1 litres being, really underpowered, took ages to get going, didn't have any get-go on the motorways and all that. However, though, this particular car has a turbo, and I think many cars in this class have these turbos with these smaller engines. And I think it works really well because although you've got a 1 litre engine, when you put a turbo in there, the whole game changes. And I think putting that in a small car, which is what the Ford Fiesta is really famous for, the small, agile, subcompact car, a car that you can drive in town, but also put in the back roads, drive in the back roads when you want to have a bit of fun. And I think they've got a really good balance here of having a small engine to give you the economy and the benefits of just potting around town and using the cars daily, but also you know, having the performance there to, you know, be able to use this car to its full potential. But not only that, the performance it's got, it's going to enable you to go on the A roads and, you know, and the motorway and overtake without too much difficulty, where previously with these small engines they did lack the power. So really good job here from Ford in putting this engine, and when you marry that with the good suspension and the handling, it all makes a really good package. Staying on the handling part, or going to the handling part, we then look at the steering, and the steering is light, so it's a light steering, but a precise steering. Ford want you to be able to drive the Fiesta as easy as possible, and I think that this steering really ticks the box. And historically, the Ford Fiesta has always been an easy car to drive with a really good steering to maneuver around town, but also to park. But then when you marry this particular steering, this light, precise steering with that engine, they've given you an opportunity to not only use it around town and do your daily errands and have a performance engine to some sort of level. Obviously, if you go for the ST, you get the real, you know, the big performance. But just as the standard level, when you get that, you're then able to take this car into the back roads and have fun with it. And I think this is where the Fiesta really excels. It's, you know, a fun car to own, to drive and to own. And because it's a small car and it's quite a lightweight car, it really does help bring the enjoyment side of motoring, really. The last category is high speed and economy, or shall I really say motorway and economy. I will change that for you guys. I was really surprised on the quality of noise insulation on this car, actually. The wind noise and the tyre roar wasn't actually that bad. And, you know, you have to be realistic. You know, this is a subcompact car. You know, they're built on a budget. You know, there's not these executives saloons, you know, really high luxury executive saloons. But they've got a level of standard, and I think they've done really well in, you know, giving you that comfort by minimising. I mean, it's still there, don't get me wrong, it's still there, especially on those rough surfaces, but it's not too bad. I think they've done a really good job, so that's really positive. In terms of speed, it does go. I mean, when you shift into that fifth gear, you put your foot down, the turbo kicks in, the car does go. It does really want to go. You can definitely feel the turbo is there to give you that high speed performance, and you put it in 6 and it just keep going all the way. But this is where it's really good to have this brilliant engine, again with that good steering, to overtake. And if you're going on a long journey, you will find it really easy to drive the car because you've got the power, and I'm glad they've given you the power to be able to do that. In terms of economy, well, I was averaging about 40 miles per gallon, and that was driving on the suburban roads and then doing this high speed part as well. So I think 40 miles per gallon is actually a really good result to have, especially a car with a decent engine, great steering, and you know, you can basically use on a daily basis as well. If you're going on those longer trips, I think that definitely the mileage will definitely be even better, because you know, you were shifting 6, just let the car relax, and it's got the performance to then just tick over. So you'll be getting even better mileage going on those motorway journeys. The only thing I did notice is that at higher speeds, there was a little bit of engine noise or turbo noise. Now, I'm not sure if it was the turbo and the engine or both put together, but it was just a little bit noisy in terms of the high speed part, but not excessively. You know, it was acceptable. I don't think it's a no, you know, something that you should worry about. But obviously, make sure you test drive this car like any car to you know, to be sure that you're happy with this car. So that would be my recommendation to do that. But other than that, it was a lovely drive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, I hope this video has given you some value on what the 2020 Ford Fiesta is like from an exterior, an interior, and a driving experience. Although this time, unfortunately, I've had to give you a commentary on the drive part, so I do apologise again for that. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. That'll be great, help me out a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and turn on your bell notification. Somewhere around the screen here, there's going to be a review video I did on the Vauxhall Corsa, which is the Ford Fiesta's main competitor, one of the main competitors. So if you want to compare, you can click on that and have a look at that review. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.